Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another WWE Champions video and another episode of Who to Take 7-Star, the top 5 characters to take 7-star. This time, we are doing Striker Males. Striker Males are actually one of my favorite classes in the game currently, especially at a 7-star meta, as unlike really any other list, a lot of these characters, including honorable mentions, are actually scaling pretty well at 7-star, and heck, the top 3 are like they're really good at 7-star. They're not bad at all. They're going to win matches turn 1 consistently no matter what, which like no other class has. There's one character in a class that maybe does like $1 billion or something. There's like 3 in this one. So strikers have like a lot of utility on them right now at this moment in the game's lifespan. So there's a lot to go over on them, and this list was really hard to make. So if you have not seen these videos before, these lists are subjective, right? It is my opinion. Again, the goal of these videos is to give you information on characters that I think are the best choices at 7-star if you have the right stuff, and then for you to look at your roster, see what you have, and then make that decision on your own. As well as if you're from the future, down the line, maybe a few months or whatever, and there's a new Striker Male out that is maybe really, really freaking good, but isn't on the list. You're like, hey, why isn't he on here? It's because they did not exist. So as of recording this video, the last Striker Male to come out, I believe, is Penta Zero from the AAA MLC. I believe he is the last Striker Male that came out. So that is those things that we went over. I think we're good now. If you haven't seen these either, I do top 5, but we also have 2 honorable mentions in no particular order. We go through the honorable mentions and then we get to the top 5. So honorable mention in no particular order. I have Haku as an honorable mention. Now, I know Haku Tangter is a beast, and some people might disagree with the fact that he's an honorable mention, as you see Haku, especially in showdowns, a lot. But there's a few fundamental problems that he has that we gotta go over, that just other characters in general kind of do better, and, just don't have these problems as much. So let's go over what Haku has strength-wise, what he's doing at 7-star, but also kind of the issue he has. So Haku has actually a lot going from him, and to be honest, if this was a choice for you at 7-star, I don't think he's a terrible choice. So let's go over the main thing, right? His moveset is relatively good still to this day. I mean, 3 charge moves, increase Black and P. The reversal he has that fill any move steal turn is one of the best reversals, if not the best reversal you can have in the game. Multis are really good, but almost everyone in the game usually has an MP up move. So Haku does a lot of stuff with that. This 3 charge move, top row Snowfall Black, so he can run the Rainbow Snowfall. And then he makes bottom row in a 1-turn countdowns. That'll do damage and make Snowfall blue. So he's got countdowns on top of Snowfall for his modified gems. And then his finisher is increasing his Black and P by 180 built in for a turn, and then decreasing those countdown gem timers. And then in turn will make the whole board black. Well, not the whole board, but most of the board black, and recycling his moves. This is still the main way people go on Haku. Now, I love Haku a lot. Again, I like this. I like Shredder Roman. I like my Hoff Michelle. I got JD for some black. I got Knight for some black. Obviously, there's a few other things you can do here, but like he actually has a lot of extra stuff that he has that makes him way, way better. 2 things in particular. One, he's got gear, which is Black Gem 200%. Obviously, gem damage is always a good thing. Black Gem 200 makes him hit much, much harder. On top of this, he's in a Clash of Champions moment, which is giving him all Gem 50, Black Gem 100, so technically Black Gem 150, and he's getting 50% more health So he is one of the few characters on this list that is also getting health buffs. And health, while it is a striker who has the least amount of health in the game, health always helps. So that's a huge deal as well. He's an S tier who has a hot tag and increases his black gem by 200%. So he's doing pretty big damage as well if you tag him in. Plate-wise, it's actually pretty simple. It's his own plate. Makes 60-word countdown, increase black gem by 200. And the Rainbow Snowfall Flurries. Obviously, a black one works too, but obviously Rainbow's going to get you 200% more damage. Now, what is the issue with Haku? The main issue is his damage output. To be honest with you, his damage actually doesn't quite get up there. At best, you're probably looking at 400 mil, maybe a bit more, maybe 450, 500, but that's actually really low compared to a lot of characters, especially on the list, as we have characters doing double him in most cases. And while I love his 3 charge, I love his reversal, don't get me wrong, all of these characters I think are good at 7-star, but some are better than others. And Haku's unfortunate issue is damage compared to a good chunk of characters. But tag team matches, hot tag, reversal, all of that is very viable still to this day. So he's still not a terrible option. Again, everyone at a 6 gold meta was running him as their defense because of this freaking move right here. This reversal caused people a lot of issues. So, but because of this reason, his damage just isn't quite there. He's going to be an honorable mention. Our second honorable mention is Steve Blackman. Now, Blackman is a tough one to call here, as Blackman is really, really good, but there's a but in there. He also kind of lacks damage as well, like Haku, and we'll go over that. So Blackman actually has a few ways to be ran. I, at 6 gold meta, love this build. This black moves 3 charge. It's again yellow. I don't run the yellows, but I love the reversal in here, which will convert all traps that are made into power gems of strength 4 mil and steal the turn. There's a lot of trap gem users in the game. I mean, there's some characters like Trick Macho, for instance, who makes the entire board trap gems. So we just make the whole board trap gems of base 4 mil, and coaches and trainers affect that. This sleeper hold right here, choose 10 to make an yellow 3 turn, range turn the power gem strength 1.5 million. So more power gem. And then this one is a 1x3 rate, making power gem strength 4 mil, then deal damage and increase your move dodge chance by 100%. So he's also got some safety on top of that. I really like this build. Obviously, some people might not. Again, as you can see, that is 20 million strength. Like just easy. And then instead of King, you would probably rather run Triple H if you have him. I just run King for the +2L, and that will affect and get all these moves full. So it depends on what you have. Now, most people might run him diving front kick, bicycle kick, and the Juggernaut, which is a very good build. Or they're running the spinning crescent kick, the shoot kicks, and then the spinning back roundhouse as well. Either or works. The problem is he does require his own plate, Steve Sticks. Basic plate-wise, you have a few options. Like you can run some black mini rumbles. You could run... man, I'm trying to think what all you could really do. I mean, Tiara plate is probably what I would say most people would run, Tiara. Because I don't think a lot of people run a drip on him, but you could. So, the problem that he has is he can do about 500 mil as well. 500 mil around there. Or you run this build, which is safety. It takes a little bit more time and whatnot. The issue is, he just doesn't benefit as much at 7-star compared to other people. And because he also doesn't have a hot tag, and he doesn't have any extra health, and he doesn't have really any other extra stuff to him, that's why he's an honorable mention. Don't get me wrong, a really fantastic card. But he just, compared to a lot of other people, does actually struggle a little. So, that being said, he is still fantastic. And I'm sure most people wouldn't regret him. It's just compared to everyone else or a lot of other characters. I will say number 5, Blackman and Haku could maybe go higher than number 5. And maybe even 4, depends on what you guys like. But they're still relatively good options for 7-star. So honorable mentions, yes, I will say that's one of the few honorable mentions where I'm like, yeah, take them 7-star. They're actually still not bad choices. But there are better choices. And number 1 is going to be the best choice I think you can make for a striker. And honestly, one of the best 7-star options right now in the game. And that's Jay. Jay is an absolute monster when it comes to what he can do. He really doesn't have a lot of issues, like other than like reversals that he has to worry about. But otherwise, dude is like perfect character in the game right now to run and use. So let's go over what makes Jay so freaking good at a 7-star meta compared to a lot of the other strikers in the game. Well, the big thing is it depends on what you have plate-wise, but we'll talk about the build first. Build-wise, most people are going to run him Samoan Splash, Spear, Running Hip Attack. Now, the way I currently run him is this way. But I can tell you right now, this is not the best way to run him, and we'll get into it. Because right now I'm 2-clicking. I'm increasing my Black Gem by 375. We also have a reversal where if you generate Pyro, we're sealing your turn. And then we're making a 7x6 random Rhea into black, right? So we're just pretty much almost whole boarding black. Just a very simple 2-click. The issue, and actually not the best thing to do, because this only hits 400 mil. And 400 mil, compared to Haku and Blackman, is actually less. But that's not how Jay gets his damage potential in. So, Jay primarily needs a few things. I'm running him double rumble. However, you are going to swap this out. Now, I will say he does require this to be number 1, in my opinion. Let's go find it. Did I pass it? Did I pass it? Let me make sure I didn't pass it. No, I didn't. Okay. Let me find this here. There it is. He really wants the drip. He really wants the drip. Whenever you activate Black Move, make 7 random gems and multi-string 7. Why is this so potent instead of a mini Black Rumble? Well, the difference is you're going to swap this out. So you're going to hit your Black Move first all the time. Then you hit this, then you hit this. The idea is you're going to put the times 7s on. He's going to have a 375 built-in Black Gem increase. Make the board black. That's making pretty much every multi black. And if he misses even one, the Black Rumble is probably going to catch it. So why do we do that? That's because this makes him do pretty much 1 billion. The multis get very, very strong with the 375 on top of the other stuff here that we're going to get into. However, I want to show you another way you can run him. That is really cool too, because he's got technically 2 ways to run him. He has another blue move that is a choose 7 to make into black. And again, if you have the drip, you would run the running hip attack first. But you can then run him. Let's put him on. You would run NW Hogan. And I just have Bradshaw. This is matching Black MP4, which means every 3 break Black would increase this move, and then in turn would increase these 2 again. You can constantly choose, set up the board in the black, and you can stack your Samoan Splash 4 times. So 4 375% increases. Make the board black. If you got the drip, you're putting multis down. He's doing a lot of damage this way. He's one of the most damaging characters in the game with this build. I don't know how much it actually does, because it does a lot. I would presume at least probably 10 billion on his own. Like, I know that sounds far-fetched, but think about it. A bunch of times 7s on the board, 4 375% increases of your main color. He's a striker, so that's the highest gem you can even get in the game. And you're just making a bunch of black gems on the board and blowing up the board that way. So he's got a few great ways to run him. Obviously, if you have the drip and you just want simplicity, this is the way to run it. But yeah, like, he's got a lot. But yes, instead of Breaker Michelle, you would want to run the black move first, as that's going to trigger your drip plate. The only issue Jay has is he has an increase and he gains MP, so he has 2 reversals that he's got to worry about. But otherwise, that's it. And a few other things to go over with Jay. Obviously, his gear is a huge deal. It gives him all color 300%. This is also how he gets to, high build damage on top of those big multis. And he's got a moment. So he gets all gem 50, black gem 50. So black gem 100. And I believe, he is there's 3 characters on the in my honorable mention and list that have health, and Haku we already did, and Jay is another one that gets 50% more health. So he's going to have more health at a 7-star level and multi 3. I don't know if this affects the drip. I don't think it does, but I'm not sure. All in all, Jay has just a lot going for him. He's a mega hitter. He's going to do a billion pretty consistently. Yeah, he does require a drip plate, which if you don't have the drip, then he might not be number 1 for your roster. But if you do have a drip, this guy can do a lot. Can do a lot of stuff. And again, he's got that other build as well that works really, really well. I will probably do a preview at some point with my Jay once I have my skill plate removal, so we can show you with the double rumbles and the drip. We'll probably do a preview on him at some point, but right now, yeah, Jay is a good option. He's one of the best characters at 7-star bronze right now with a drip plate, but he can just do a lot. So number 2 is Rob Van Dam, Hall of Fame. Now, Rob is stupid good too. But he just doesn't quite get to Jay's level, and we'll talk about why. So, Rob's best build is Tricolor. I don't think anyone's going to tell you otherwise. Big Juggernaut, 2-turn. Make increase your multi-strength by 5, and then make 10 red and blue at the end, right? So whole board blue. Make multis a strength 3, decrease Juggernaut damage by 1, and then he increases the black MP by 10. And this is how I run mine currently. MP, so that's loaded. King, make sure that's loaded so you don't have to run Santa Hook. And obviously, if you want, you could run Mosh, but you might have to run. You probably need to run Santa. I got Bo, which obviously is a rare character, but he's slowly starting to get easier to get. And then we have Goldberg for another Juggernaut, because, one Juggernaut equals 5 more multi-strength. So very big damage. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing about him, right? If you just hit all those moves, even with my silver gear, which gives him a lot more damage, like we haven't even talked about gears, but all color 100, and then both gears is all color 150. Even with all of that, you're probably doing maybe 500 mil, which, compared to Haku, compared to Blackman, isn't really quite there. It's okay. All right. It's fine. So what makes Rob number 2? Well, what makes him number 2 is the plates, is the drip stick combo. Yeah, I know drip and the Steve Sticks plate is pretty freaking rare. So it's a tougher thing, but yes, you need you need that, and you really want this on him in order to get the true potential. Because yes, if there is a way where he can break 6 multis, he's going to make the board black, and then he does a billion as well. So he's going to do that. The reason why he's number 2 is because he actually doesn't have a great way to guarantee that. Which you might be like, well, if there's no guarantee, why is he even on the board? Why is he even on the list? All right. Hell, why is he number 2? There's a few reasons that he can actually kind of bypass this. Not only because, right, if you do get it, you hit big. He can technically guarantee. He's not a character who can, like, miss unless you try. Like, you can look at the board and look if there's a way where you can break 6 gems and then do it. And if you can't, then you run Rolling Thunder, Senton first, split leg, increase, hit it again, and you're just going to do 500 mil, right? You're just going to hit, you're going to do 500. However, and if you haven't seen my hot tag video on Rob, because he is an S tier with a hot tag that increases also gem by 100%, by the way, he can guarantee it in tag matches. So it's really strong that way. Yeah, I know tag matches, kind of a weird thing, but Showdown is realistically, I think, the most competitive event really in the game at this moment, as it gives you the best rewards if you can get first place, especially in the weekend, right? Big 40 pools, right? That you can get possibly for free. And in tag matches, it's a big deal. And not only that, but Rob has a fantastic link of Hall of Fame, which gives you all color for it. So, while I understand the fact that, yes, if there's not 6 gems on the board, I don't know if I would probably put him in as an honorable mention then. But because of what he can do and how he can run it, he's just way better, and that's why I put him number 2. If you disagree with that, I think that's totally fine. Just because he does require a little bit of shenanigans, and he does require some really rare stuff plate-wise. So if he's not for you, he's not for you, right? But don't worry, we got 3 other people we got to look into as well. So, but Rob is a fun one. Actually, between Jay and Rob, these were the 2 I thought about really the most of who I wanted to take 7-star. I mean, don't get me wrong. 3, 4, and 5 were also options. But I in the end took Jay first. So that's what we're going to do. All right, number 3 is Roman Reigns OTC. Now, Roman is number 3 because of one particular problem. If he did not have this problem, he'd be possibly number 1. But he does have this issue, so that's why he's number 3. So let's get into what his issue is and what he has going for him. Now, Roman is a damage monster, right? 6x6 area, base of strength 12, increase purple by 250 for a turn, and then just make the whole board freaking purple, right? Multis, built-in increases are the best way to get gem, like high gem. And if you look at any character in the game who has like the best gem damage in the game, everyone runs multis and everyone has a built-in increase, right? That's pretty much universal across the board. If you're doing high damage, this is how you get high damage. The issue of why Roman is not number 1, because mind you, this build does a very easy billion, like he's going to win. It's 865 of blue and purple for MP. There's no dual MP trainer that is blue and purple. Because of this, you have to run Jerry and King. Well, Jerry, he gives us 4. That's 5, that's 6. Our base is brings us to 7, and then Santa Hogan brings us to 8. So both of these moves are full, right? Both moves are full. The problem is King plus the starting MP plus Santa Hogan equals only 4 out of the 5 for Lariat Takedown, which means in competitive modes, in like Showdown, you gotta have either Bloodline, you gotta have SmackDown, or you gotta have Raw. You gotta have a link on him. And if they have minus MP for the most part, he's gonna struggle a lot and not have his moves turn 1. And because of this in Feud, you need +1 purple or a +1 all, aka middle line bonus, in order for him to be turn 1. This is literally his only flaw, is he just needs that 1 MP. If he didn't have this problem, I'd put him way higher, because here's the great thing about Roman. His plates, you don't need them. You do not need a skill plate. There's nothing rare. I run these because I used to run him at Titan, and this would just help him recycle, and you could run these to help him recycle his blue moves. But for the most part, he does not need any skill plate, let alone any rare plates. He does have a moment that helps him out a lot, because it is multi-4 and purple 50, so if you can get that, please get that. But like, there's no rare gear, there's no rare plate, there's no rare really anything. It's just him. For the like, you don't have to have Bo, you don't have to have Sherry, you don't have to have really anything super rare other than him. But like, if you have him, he's gonna do big damage. The only issue is that +1 MP that he needs somewhere. Again, I would love to see them make a new double MP trainers, and one is purple and blue, so this way then he is completely turn one without +1 MP, or maybe they run, maybe NWO Perfect or something gets revamped and now he's all color 3 or something. Because unfortunately right now, Roman just does not have a whole lot of options on his own. He requires buffs in order to really run this moveset, and if we run him normally, like the Samoan drop, multis, and the lariat takedown, it just doesn't quite hit hard enough, and then we'd have to put him even lower on the list that way. This is really his saving grace build, but it just requires that MP, and that's why he's number 3 for this reason, because of that one thing. If he did not have it, dude's an absolute monster. He's going to turn one, he's going to hit you for a billion, and he really doesn't require anything. I mean, heck, these plates don't give him more damage, they just help him recycle. That's it. So that's all we're doing there. So Roman's really good, but that is just his only real issue. Number 4 might surprise some people, but we really got to talk about him because, my God, is he fantastic. And he's one of my favorite cards in the game. It's Eddie Guerrero Light Sheet Steel. I have waited a long time for a good Eddie. A long time for a meta-relevant Eddie Guerrero. And when this man came out, the excitement I had was pretty immense. But then I kind of watched the previews, and I was like, oh, he's okay. Okay, well, he's like every other Eddie. I probably won't use him. But then Tekken stuff came out, and it's like, oh, no. And then now we're here where he's, he got a gear, he got a plate, he's got a moment, he's in another moment. He's got a lot of stuff going for him. So we need to talk about Eddie Guerrero Light Sheet Steel, because this man is actually the epitome of broken in this game, and this is why he's on the list number 4. So Eddie actually really has not a lot of flaws. I mean, he has a similar flaw with Roman, where he does require some MP shenanigans, but for the most part, he doesn't really require anything crazy. And he's actually himself not a rare card, to be honest with you. I mean, he's an S tier, so he's pretty easily eventually going to be recruitable. Heck, I pulled this guy out of a key pull and stuff. So, I mean, look how many shards I got for him already. So, it's not like he's a tough character to get by any means. So, I run this man yellow, black, black. That is how I run him. That is how I run him. I know some people like, the running dropkick black. Some people like the choose move with that. Some people like to just have him with the black and then he just steals MP. And then some people just really like triple yellow. I like this build, and I'm going to tell you why. So, 1, this move is the best move in the game. We'll get into that later, but we're going to go to these 2. But this is the best move in the game. The Hilo, 9 charge black, deal damage, make 36 random into trap gems, brought by your opponent, deal 1 million, brought by you, deal damage, and destroy 10 random gems. Okay? Interesting trap move. Frog Splash, increase the damage of all your gems by 250 for a turn. So built in 250, then deal damage, destroy a trap gem. Right? It's pretty solid. Now, why do I think that this move is the best move in the game? It's a 5 charge yellow. Deal damage, increase your gem and move dodge chance by 100% for 2 turns, then deal damage and increase your yellow MP by 4. So, for anyone who doesn't know, with move dodge chance in particular is the only moves that can that do not get dodged are finishers and submissions. Well, not a lot of characters run subs, to be honest with you. And finishers, at least on their own, usually don't do anything either. I mean, if you looked at all the characters we've looked so far, like Blackman, Haku, Roman, Jay, Rob, all these people, either they're not even running their finisher, or if they do, for instance, Haku, Blackman, or even Eddie himself, their finisher on their own really doesn't do anything, right? It requires another move. It requires something else in order for it to like click together. So most people aren't going to get damage just by the finisher alone. This means that this move, if you hit this move in a match, if they do not have a sub and they do not have a finisher, means they literally just lose. They just lose the match. They just lose the match completely. But not only that, he also increases his gem dodge chance by 100%, which means guess what? You can swipe and you'll still do 0 damage to him as well. So what does this mean? It literally just means that if you don't have a sub, pretty much, because even finishers don't really do a whole lot, if you do not have a submission, you're just screwed. You're just screwed. You physically can't win. Even in tag matches, you're probably screwed, as even if you tag in a character after after Eddie hit the buff, they do all the dodge move stuff and they tag in. Even if they have moves, Eddie's dodge still affects the other character. So they'll come in, and if they don't have a sub or a fin, they're just going to be dodged too. They're going to swipe, they're going to do 0, and then it's back to Eddie's turn. That is it. Eddie completely shuts down pretty much every single character in the game. Right? Every single character in the game is getting shut down by this one move that recycles itself because it increases its MP by 4. It's a 5 charge move. Like, they can wildcard as well, and by the way, in everything too, it doesn't matter. It's still a constant dodge because wildcards don't count as the turns, because you would think because it's like, oh, 2 turns, if you have it, that's 1. Do it again, that's 2. Right? So like, oh, they wildcard again, they would be out. That's not the case. I've had it where someone got a wildcard like 5 times. They just got a huge cascade. They did 0. And they kept extra turning, and I kept dodging him. It's because this turn is not for the opponent, it's for us. So it doesn't go down until it's our turn again. So this move is the best move in the game so far. There's no because it's such good defense and offense at the same time. It shuts down everything. And then these 2 moves just work together to do damage. Eddie is not the most damaging character on this list, to be honest with you. With everything, he's probably only doing like 300-400 mil. The difference is he just wins every time, every single time. You can't beat him. You physically can't beat him. The way I run him is mellow, or just in general, you could run Woods for that black 4, and then I run King and Senahogan. So 4, that's 5, that's 6, again 7, and that brings us to 8 MP. Right, that brings us to 8, and then this is going to be now really close. Now you might be like, well, that literally none of your moves are full. That is true. That is true. He does require a +1 in feud if you ran him this way, or you could just run him a yellow MP, then let your moves kind of get going, or you can run -MP. I also run Montez, so because if you destroy 2 traps, automatically the board blows up. You don't need to make a certain amount of trap gems. It just blows up the board. But I don't primarily run this guy as a feud guy. I run him as a showdown guy because he has the Mexico link, which is any color remove start with 2 more, which then fills up everything. So he gets filled up completely. Also, if we are running a mixed match tag team stuff for showdowns, I can run China and I get any color start with 6. And if you look in my last video of China, China is also very good, and with the new Mr. Iguana plate, she is also very safe. So both of them are just super safe characters to run. Not only that, obviously if you can get the plate, he's going to just make the whole board black. I also like to run the Barber's Blades. You could run It's a Trap to get a little bit more damage out, but It's a Trap's pretty rare. He does also really like if you can get the gear. That's Gem 250. But he's in not one, but 2 moments. So he gets Gem 50, Black 50, Green 50, which is fine because we blow up the whole board. But we also get 50% more health. So again, he's our last character on the list that gets health. But because if you have the Tekken moment, I don't have it, but if you have the Tekken moment here, well, guess what? He gets another 100% Gem, 200% Trap, all color move 150, which doesn't really matter, but 100% Gem, 200% Trap is. But look, he gets another 50% health. He is the only striker on this list. I don't know if it's, I don't know if in the game he is, but at least on the list, he is the only striker in the game. What am I saying? Only striker on the list that has 100% health buff with those 2 moments in total, which means he's got the most health I think a striker can have, because I think for male, the highest health character is Dom Showboat with 150 health with his moments. But Eddie gets 100%, which again helps him. He's doubling his health. He's going to be close to 1 billion health for the most part, because his base health that goes maybe not 1 billion, but he'll be at like 800 or 900 million health on his own. He's got safety. He's got damage. I didn't even mention the fact, too, this man's a hot tag. And he increases all gem by 100, which is fantastic because what is he doing? He's blowing up the whole board every turn. And again, complete just defense. Obviously, you could run triple yellow, and that would do the same thing pretty much. It's pretty much the same thing. However, I just think it's a little bit slower, because this can only do 140 mil, and then this will do a little bit of move damage. Whereas if you constantly blow up the board, this does more damage, and he's going to win the match faster. Eddie has a lot going for him. He's one of my favorite cards in the game, man. Super safe. It's just the most broken move in the game I've ever seen right now, because it shuts down pretty much everything that a character does. Like, can you imagine setting up a plate, setting up the belt, setting up the metal, setting up the moveset, setting up the entourage, setting up the moments, setting up if you have a gear for any character in the game, and Eddie can just nullify all of it with a move. So, that seems fine to me. So yes, Eddie is fantastic. Eddie is a great one for 7-star if you want to take up. And he might hit actually harder. Maybe he might get to 500 with the right stuff, but I'm going to lowball him around 300-400 something mil. But he might hit harder than I think, especially if you have the hot tech. If you're running hot tech, he'll do a good chunk of damage. So Eddie is fantastic. All right, number 5, the last character on the list. Again, I feel like number 5, you can maybe kind of switch with the honorable mention of Blackman Haku. I like this character more, though, due to his links. And that's Penta 0. Now, Penta does require a bunch of stuff, really, to be honest with you, to get going. So let's talk about that. Now, another thing we need to talk about is his build. What do you guys want to run? Well, I personally run Tricolor. This is how I've ran him, and this has given me a lot of success so far. I have not had any problems with this build, really. You can, now, if you're someone who doesn't want to run this build, you might be more interested in the Sling Blade, the multi-move, and then his Camel Clutch finisher that makes 45 red and red. With his Penta plate that increases, whenever you make multi-increase red gem, and then preferably would want Ministry plate. That build's fine. It does about 450 against a Trickster that does get pretty close to 1 billion, which is really good. I will give it that. Against a Trick, that build is going to smack. However, I personally like this build more, especially against non-Tricks. So what do? I like this move, 6 charge green Mexican Destroyer. It gains 9 black MP, then deals damage and increases our green gem by 200% for a turn. So we got built-in increase of green by 200%. Our diving double foot stomp, 9 charge red, deals damage, makes a 6x6 random read and a model if you have strength 6. Hardcore, if opponent's class is trickster, we're going to deal damage and increase our red gem by 100%. And then Penta Driver is a 10 mil base finisher that makes 24 random into red. So, if you can't tell, or if you haven't seen my Penta video, as I do talk about him in a lot more detail, this is pretty much OTC. It's a little bit weaker, don't get me wrong. He's not going to hit per billion most of the time. Against a trick, he'll be close, but I don't think he'll hit that hard. He'll probably do about 700, 800 mil. But against most other people, where the other build's only doing about 450, this build, from what I can tell, is usually averaging about 500, 550, around there. Depending on what they have. So you're getting, at some points, 100 mil extra damage, which is relatively good. However, unlike the other characters I just mentioned, where Jay I love in Feud, Penta I actually prefer than Jay in Showdown, and we're going to talk about why. So again, Entourage, though, just to tell you, is Kang, Sherry. I got Mem. If you had Leo, he would actually do significantly more. He might do closer to 600 mil if you have Leo. And then I have Chelsea, and obviously you can have another buff at 7-star. And I sometimes swap Mem out for Santa Hogan. But what does he need? Well, let's talk about it. One of the most important things about this Penta is his gear. It's all color 5. This makes this build actually really shine. This is how you're able to run Kane and Sherry for that multi-4. As if we start with 5, you start with your base starting MP, right? That's 6. King is giving us to 8. And then obviously, depending on what you have link-wise, if you do not have any links, you're going to need Santa Hogan to get to 9, which means that move is completely full. This move is completely full. And then this move fills the Penta Driver up. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Right? Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So, that is his main thing. Also looks dope, but he does really want this gear. For the way I run him double green rumble, because obviously that fin makes red. We want green to come down, so we're going to rain green with the rumbles. So that's how I've been doing it. Also, if you can, make sure you can get a black move 250, as again, that finisher base is 10 mil. So you'll squeeze a little bit more damage with that move alone, to be honest with you. So if you can get that, that's for the best. If you do not want to run this way, and I'm sure there are people that don't, you want to run him green, red, red. Again, run the Penta, his own plate. Whenever you make 6 multi, increase red gem 100 is what you're looking for there. And then Ministry of Darkness plate, which is significantly rare. So that one might be a little tough to get. But for the most part, he can do some pretty good damage. I just don't like it as much because while it does do more against Trick, it's doing less against any other class. This build is a common ground where, yeah, it's going to do a bit less against a Trick, but it's doing more against everyone else. So that, to me, is just a bit better. Not only that Penta has going for him, Penta also has a hot tag that increases wildcard gem by 100, which is actually really useful for this build, as that means that he's getting pretty much green gem 300%, red gem 100. If we fight a Trick, that's red gem 200%. We're making some multis red, probably. We're gonna make red, and then we're flooding the board green. So having all color is very beneficial to him. And on top of this, in Showdown, he's got the Mexico link. Again, a very good link. There's a lot of good characters with this link. Penta, Eddie, LW Ray, King of the Luchador, Dom, Vikingo, Mr. Iguana is a good one. Psycho Clown's a fantastic one now too. Tech Ray is still relatively good. Ray Phoenix is fantastic. Acro Penta is fantastic. There's so many good characters with that link. And then on top of that, if you do not need more MP, you can run AAA which is multi-gem from these moves will increase your strength by 2. So 2 more multi-strength, which again, considering you're making a 6x6 area, 2 more strength, aka each gem there is 200% more gem damage realistically. It's really good. Again, main way you get big damage, multis increase built in. And we do that with this build. He hits very well. He's very strong in showdowns. He's not terrible in feud either. Again, I don't think I would use him in feud as much as like a Roman or Rob or Jay, but I definitely probably would use Penta for the most part over Roman and Jay in showdown, as those links help him a lot. And again, Hot Tag is very good for showdowns as well. So that is my top 5 trick list. I know this one's a long one, but these 5 and honestly 7, the honorable mentions on top of this, are so good. They do a lot. This is probably the best class in the game right now because a lot of them fit 7-star meta. And there's even characters I didn't mention in this video that still kind of fit the mold of a 7-star meta. Like freaking Ron isn't terrible. Zombie Sammy isn't bad. Axe, especially if you run him with the Mr. Iguana plate, is a very solid choice as well. There's a lot of options like nowadays that you can run for Striker. Striker's got some good stuff. Oba, I didn't even talk about Oba just because he does require a bit more. But Oba can do about 500 mil, 700 mil around there with everything as well. So you might like Oba a little bit more. He just requires a lot more stuff than everyone else does. So that is my video. Again, to recap, our honorable mentions in no particular order: Steve Blackman and Hot Coup. Our top 5, Jey Uso. Number 2 is Rob Van Dam, Hall of Fame. Number 3 is Roman Reigns, OTC. Number 4 is Eddie, Light Cheat Steel. Number 5 is going to be Penta Zero. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. If your opinions are different, if you think somewhat maybe the list should be flipped a bit, if you think there's a character that I didn't mention like Oba or something, or Axe, that maybe should have made the list, or maybe at least should have made honorable mentions. Again, let me know. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. It helps me out a ton as the dynasty keeps growing. We're getting very close, I think, to 450 subscribers, which is crazy to think about, as we were 300 not too long ago. And if you have made it this far, then from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.